A lot of shad, a lot of small shad, and some kingies that are busting up the shad.
Let's put it this way, if you find them in the right spot, you can get 10 throws, 10 grains. It's quite, easy.
The bass are in the hundreds, and the rock and surf side down the south coast has definitely kicked off.
There you go, buddy. Hit it now!
This is the Angler News SA podcast. I'm Vanessa Green.
Well, hello and welcome to another Angler News KZN fishing report, and I am glad to report that all the signs we expected are here. Guys, the season is going to be epic. Everything that we thought was going to happen is happening, and it's happening in the most beautiful way possible. The water temperature is dropping, and we are licking our lips for what we are thinking but not saying, right? I mean, it's way too soon for that, so we're not going to say that. But what we can say is that, guys, the offshore action is simply firing on all cylinders. The bass are in the hundreds, and the rock and surf side down the south coast has definitely kicked off. And if the last year has anything to go by, we know for a fact that once the south coast kicks off, they do not stop, which means the fishing is not going to stop. So we've got all the reports of what's been going on throughout this past week in KZN, and we have got this week's predicted feeding zones. So sit back, relax, turn up the volume, and get ready for it. But before we do, guys, huge shout out to our sponsors, the Kingfisher.
The Kingfisher are the leading fishing tackle specialist. We stock gear for every facet of fishing, from carp to cooter, marlin to trout. Basically, everything. We have stores across KZN, from Toti to Salt Rock, Durban to Pietermaritzburg. You can also find us online at kingfisher.co.za.
Thank you, the Kingfisher. Guys, none of this could be possible without our sponsors, so big up to them. Now let's get into the fishing report. Let's start off on the south coast with our south coast guru, Adam, who's come out of a couple weeks of a dry spell, but smiling all the way to the bank right now. Guys, he's got a lot of species that has come out, and he's going to tell us all about it. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the one and only, the legendary Adam Lyon.
Good day, Vanessa, and all our listeners out there. So, things have been mixed bag down on the south coast. We've had sort of good days and bad days in terms of the weather with the rain, sea conditions not being great every day of the week. And then the days that they have been good, fish have been caught. And even in the upside down sea, the guys have been fishing hard and been catching. Now, things have been exciting down here. However, they haven't been as exciting as the guys up north catching a crocodile, Vanessa, but it's still been good down here nonetheless. Still lots of non-eds around this side with sandies, lessers, some hound sharks around, some brown skates. So things have been quite exciting, especially in your deep water spots, Margate Pier being one of them, and also down in Port Edward. So the guys have been getting, decent fish. The only thing that's a little bit missing, if you wish, have been sort of your rock species. So there's been a zebra here or there. There's been a cave bass. There's been one or two smaller bronze bream, but not really fireworks at this stage. However, there is one or two kingies still around that the guys are targeting and having fun with. And there's been one or two bus-sized shad. Definitely, Vinesh. We know this. You've got the evidence as such. Otherwise, things haven't been, I wouldn't say firework, but sparkles at this stage, Vinesh. But yeah, if the guys are heading down to the south coast for the weekend, want to do a bit of fishing, head to your deep water spots. Definitely live bait's been doing the work. And we've got a lot of, I would say, non-ed species that we can target. And I wouldn't just go for a dead bait or two. I'd also try and put out a livey, because that's also been catching a few great non-eds down here. In terms of sizes, things have been anywhere from your 5 kilo fish upwards. There was a brusher not too long ago, also caught recently off the rock. So, you can always try your rock fishing species. However, I would definitely still put out a non-ed bait, and I would set up for it, because that's more than likely what's going to happen. Otherwise, guys, I hope you have an awesome weekend. Stay safe, tight lines, and let's see those catches.
Thank you, Adam. You know what? I wouldn't mind missing out on those small rockfish, because with all those sharks out there and the brusher and those huge shad, guys, if you want to see that shad, make sure to check it out on our YouTube channel. We've got all the footage that Adam is talking about on that. That will be on Angler News SA, the YouTube channel. That's a report of what's been going on. But guys, I can tell you the South Coast is cooking. Right now, for more non-ed action, we've got Ray Thompson with this week's report of everything that's been happening from Pennington right down to Warner Beach.
there have been quite a few fish caught, even though we've had lots and lots of rain over the last couple of days. Starting down south, there's been some brusher, some big shad coming out down that side, as well as a couple of lanterns, some small cob. So the fish are starting to move. I've also heard of a few sand sharks down south as well. So it seems like our water temperatures are cooling down a bit, and that's what we're looking forward to. Moving up north, the Pennington, Park Rennie, Gully area, there's been a lot of blackfin action in that area for those of them that are putting out live baits, as well as some brusher, which is quite good. They are very early, but that's just a sign of the water temperature getting cooler. A lot of shad, a lot of small shad, and some kingies that are busting up the shad at Park Rennie and at Rocky Bay as well. Okay, guys, the Mamsentoti, Warner Beach, Ilovo. There's been some flatfish around, quite a few grey sharks for those of you that are fishing for the grey sharks. The sea is still a bit up and dirty, so there's quite a bit of colour around, which is actually very good. But I think in the next couple of days, when the water has time to settle in that, I think the fishing down in the Toti area will definitely pick up, and we'll get a lot more fishing action in that area.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. So, guys, South Coast, it is booming. There are fish. You will get rods bending. Now, Friday is going to be, let's see what kind of day. You know what? It's Valentine's Day. Rather spend time with the girlfriend, wife, whatever it is. Spend time with your loved one, right? Spend time with the family. Snuggle up, because on Saturday and Sunday, that's the day to go out and fish. Now let's jump into the freshwater side, but unfortunately Jan is not around this week. Jan is living his best life out at Sterkfontein. He sent me some images, and the yellowfish action is already on the go. So we're going to hear more about that next week. But what I can tell you right now on your freshwater side is that it's bass all day long. Now, Albert Falls and Midma, the bass has been far and few between with the bigger ones, right? But if you want full-on action, and I'm talking action throughout the entire day, guys, Hazelmere, the dam is full, 100% capacity. And the bass are coming out in the hundreds. So if you haven't caught freshwater fish before, if you haven't caught freshwater fish in a while, if you want to take the kids out fishing, the reports are coming through, you can get 20 odd a day, right? So that's a lot of bass. Now these are the smaller bass, so carry some light tackle, carry some ultralights if you can, have some fun. But bear in mind, in between, there are some real big bags out there. As for the carp has been a bit quiet. However, the tilapia is biting right now. So here's what I've just learned recently about tilapia, right? These fish spawn 4 times a year, and this is one of those spawning times. So go out there and have some fun with that bass and tilapia. Now, if you're looking for some North Coast action, well, it has been a bit quiet. Guys have been getting a bit of rockfish, but, no real fireworks, real weird conditions happening up at the North Coast. Yes, we know it's crazy hot, but there hasn't been much fish. In fact, we expected the diamonds to be around, and the guys are scratching their head and pondering, where are these fish? It's got us all stumped, but you know what? It is what it is, and we're just giving you on this report. The diamonds did not pitch up. It is strange. It is weird. We can't explain it. Hopefully, we figure it out at some point, and more than anything, hopefully they come about. However, if you are looking for some offshore action, now this is where North Coast is cooking. We are talking Dorado tuna, we are talking about kuta, and definitely the snook. So there's good offshore action up the North Coast. As for Durban, well, let's kick it off with Mike V and Brad Krobler.
The fishing is still all about the grey sharks. Yeah, the sea hasn't been the best, been very warm. For some reason, the greys are eating nicely all over the coast. Between them, the oaks are getting a couple of sandies down there, the odd diamond, good couple of honeycombs, things like that, 1-2 browns. Not too wild, but they're getting them. But the grey sharks have been quite, let's put it this way, if you find them in the right spot, you can get 10 throws, 10 greys. It's quite, easy. Edibles have been a little bit quiet, odd grunter around, odd stumpy, nothing major to write off home about, but some big shad came in again. I saw a couple of pics of some 4 to, say, 6 kilo size ones. Yeah, so the beaches have had some nice bite to them. Paddle skis and ski boat side, they're also getting some lovely snook and guta. The tunny are also around, so your game fish are eating very nice. There's been 1 or 2 marlin out in the deep as well. Saw a video of some guys catching some marlin, so we can go target quite a few of those kinds of fish. On the bottom, those are still getting their hillback, doggers, their rock cods and all that sort of thing. Once it clears up, we should be able to get some good bite. They're saying that the guys are still getting the odd kingy and things like that, but I haven't heard too many reports of cob or grunters or anything like that. Guys, tight lines, have a good one. This is Mike B for ANSA News.
Good day, guys. It's Brad here from Linsky Fishing Charters. Yeah, guys, the ski boat report for Durban from the last week. The fishing has been really nice. There's been quite a few Dorado, when I say quite a few, getting 10s and 12s on a trip with a couple of tuna in between it. Also, there's been some nice wahoo, sailfish and marlin out to the deep. In the shallowing area, the snook are still quite wild off the Blue Lagoon area. Some kuta from Sloty. In the bottom fishing, that's also been pretty good when the weather and the current has been behaving itself. But some really good soldiers, slingers, and some really big rock cod coming out. This is Brad for Angling News South Africa, and you guys, sightlines, and speak to you all next week.
Great stuff, guys. What a way to round off the show. I couldn't have said it better myself. There are fish out there. The fish are biting, offshore action. Oh, yes. Now, when Mike V was talking about those gray sharks, I think he understated that these are some serious size grays. There's a good couple around that 20-kilo mark. There's a couple around that 50-kilo mark. And trust me, in the basin last week, the guys and the ladies were getting their lines peeled off so bad that they couldn't stop the fish, right? So, they were getting reefed. Now, also, while staying in Durban, the Durban Harbour has been performing. Guys, there's been some beautiful grunter coming out. A good couple reported around that 4-kilo mark. The water is a beautiful color, nice ginger beer in color, right? And there's been a couple salmon. There's been a few other species. If you are into your drop shot fishing, we have received quite a few reports of the kingfish. So, yes, Durban is happening. South Coast, Durban, North Coast, not so much unless you're on the offshore side. But guys, definitely go and get your hands on some freshwater fish. Like I said, the Bass at Hazelmere, it's not just easy fishing, it is fun fishing. So take the family and go and have an absolute blast. So with that being said, guys, this is our KZN report. It is absolutely happening right now. It is epic, it is fun, it is alive. All right, so get out there, have fun, and until the next one.
This is the Angling News SA podcast. I'm Vanessa Green. Find more episodes at ecr.co.za under podcasts or your favorite podcast app. Let's fish for the future.